All right, everybody, back to answer some more asks. I hope everybody had a chance to check out my analysis of the trailer. If you haven't, it is up. I'm very excited for what I'm seeing there, and it's making it feels like it's still in line with him heading toward Beth, hopefully by the end of the season. And yeah, it looks spectacular. I'm super excited now for the new season to start. But we're going to dive into some asks today, try to get through them, and by the end of the week, there aren't too many, but I have obviously had a lot coming in, and I'm hoping that I'll get more as more comes out from the Comic-Con. So I'm going to start with the older ones to make sure they get answered, and then some of the Comic-Con stuff may not be until closer to the end of the week. All right. So, has anyone ever asked Greg Nicotero and his special effects bros about why they didn't line up the shot on Beth's head with the angle of Don's gun? I don't know. This is a good question. I mean, we all ask it indirectly, certainly, in our posts and our theories and everything. So it's not like they don't know that we're wondering about that. But I don't have a memory of anyone saying that they actually walked up to him and asked that, or, like we have it on camera and he got flustered or anything like that. So I don't know that we have this, at least not a record of it. If anyone knows or has heard a story about this, then please send it in. So I would say no, at least not that we know of. Again, not that we have record of. So that would be a good question to ask for sure. And, I just want to take the opportunity to remind everyone that it is Nicotero that says that they are very realistic, especially with medical type injuries. When he said that, they usually focus more on things like walker bites and how they try to make them be very realistic. And of course, that's difficult because there aren't walker bites in real life that they can get footage of and use that to work off of. But what they do is they have medical consultants who can tell them, okay, if somebody was bit here, like say on the leg, on the calf, this is what it would look like because you have this, these muscles and these tendons and ligaments and cartilage and, bone and whatever else is there. And so if a walker were to take a bite out of someone's leg, and you know how they always do where they pull back and they rip the flesh off, which is really gross, this is what it would look like. So if they have those medical people there on site all the time and are consulting with them, then it just goes to show that they were very precise about where they placed Beth's injury and what it would have looked like. And they would have said, we would argue that they would have said, where could we put this gunshot so that she would live? Now, for people who don't believe that she lived, the argument would be, okay, but then if they were really trying to kill her off, they would have asked, where should we put this, what's the word I'm looking for? Like the path of this bullet on her head so that she would for sure die. And that should have been further down. As we always say, it was way too high up and she definitely could have survived that. And because they have medical consultants, they would know that. And they still chose to put it there. So yeah, anyway, just to point that out, it's just, even though they don't tell us directly, they do tell us indirectly that something is off here and that it was purposely placed and that they do know that she could have survived that injury, right? But as to the actual angle, I don't know that anyone's asked him that. It would be interesting if somebody did, right? So if anybody knows anything like that, please send it in. Great question. All right, not sure if anyone has pointed it out yet, but I saw that Luna Love Girl posted either on Twitter or Blue Sky a screenshot of the ending from the last episode of Red Machete showing Boots with the caption as a lyrics from one of Lady Gaga's recent songs, I Could Be Your Type, from Your Zombie Bite. It's probably nothing, but her post was deleted shortly after, probably because the powers that be forced her to delete it due to the premature spoiler for what we haven't seen. And that confirms to me personally that she is either Boots from Red Machete or she knows about TD is on our side, and maybe both. A win is a win. So if you don't remember this, this account, Luna Love Girl, we've debated before on whether she knows about TD, what she knows, whether she knows Emily, things like this. We can't say for sure on anything like this because we just don't know for sure. And it's all conjecture. But that is interesting that she posted that with lyrics that talked about a zombie bite. Yeah, super interesting for sure. And like I said, I don't know that I want to conjecture any more than that, but I mean, I hadn't seen that. So yeah, really interesting. It's another one of those questions that we would like to ask Gimple, right? Okay, this account, what do they know? Just tell us, because we noticed some weird things, So yeah, thanks for sending that in. That is super, super interesting. Oh, sorry, I forgot to mention that she posted the boots screenshot around May or Pride Month, late May or Pride Month. So this was a few months ago. Okay, interesting. So this is very random, but something that always bothered me on TWD is the out of left field Rosita and Gabriel relationship. They got together off screen and broke up off screen. In my opinion, they made zero sense and had no chemistry. I've been trying to figure out why they did this and have thought it might be related to Beth and Daryl in some way, maybe the big age gap or something. Just wanted to see if anyone had any theories of what their relationship could have symbolized because it felt so forced and something felt off about it. There have been theories throughout the seasons. Um, I do think that they were often used as parallels to Beth and Daryl in various ways. So, I mean, I don't really know. I don't want to go too into the weeds trying to figure out exactly what, the writer's logic was in doing this. Interestingly, the thing that jumps out to me about it most is actually their personality types. And it would actually be Father Gabriel that would be paralleled with Beth because he's a serious character. And he's also just got the more optimistic and passive kind of personality. Whereas Daryl and Rosita were always good friends because Rosita was much more, um, she, was I'm gonna fight you, kick butt, badass kind of energy. And so they always worked well together as a team, especially when it came to fighting walkers. So she's actually a lot more like Daryl. So yeah, I don't know. Beyond that, I think that maybe they could have put them together just to use them as a parallel to Beth and Daryl, and maybe it was a foreshadow of some kind. I'm not sure. I don't know. That's a really interesting question. I haven't thought about them in quite some time. But like I said, I do know that when I was doing analysis of the flagship show episodes, there was very often that they were used as parallels and there were similarities and things between them and Beth and Daryl. So like I said, that could just be it. And I don't know. I guess I could see because they decided to use Gabriel as a serious character, like specifically, maybe it had less to do with Rosita. I mean, she was together with okay, I'm forgetting his name, the guy that was actually the father of her baby. And then, of course, there was the Eugene always pursuing her and everything until she finally shut him down and he stopped. But anyway, I can see them maybe saying, okay, well, since Gabriel is the serious character, we need to have a romance with him with someone who would kind of parallel Daryl, and Rosita was just, the best choice for that. Again, that's complete conjecture. I have no idea if that's what happened, but I could see something like that. So yeah, great question. And if anybody wants to send in any theories they have or evidence they have about that, please feel free to do that. Do you think Beth is still alive in the Walking Dead universe? Yes, most definitely. And I hope we will see her by the end of Daryl Dixon season 3. There have been reports from other YouTubers that they have put up the Ones Who Live posters at this year's Comic-Con. It's the same posters of Rick and Michonne, but it's not promoting a season 2. Why would they do this for a show that has already aired? I'd like to think it's because they plan to do The Ones Who Live with all of Team Family, but they aren't ready yet. We still have Daryl Dixon season 3 or Daryl Dixon season 4 and Dead City season 3. The spin-offs aren't complete yet. Thoughts? Yeah, this is I'm gonna admit this is really odd for them to do this. Because they're always promoting what's coming up. Like they wouldn't put up posters for the flagship show now or for the world beyond now because those aren't coming up. So it's really very strange for them to do this. The only thing I can say is that I agree with you, like along the same lines of doing The Ones Who Live with all of Team Family. So we've had a few different confirmations of this now, and I would like to add this to the list of things that TD has been right about. We have been saying forever, not forever, but since the spinoff started anyway, that they're going to go back to like a main show with the whole group. And we've had a couple of confirmations of that now. We had Lauren Cohen's interview where she said that they would, it would be really cool if they got the super group back together, which is Team Family from the original show. And then in Comic-Con this past week, they kept saying over and over again that there's more story to come. It's not even going to end with Daryl Dixon season 4. There's more story to come. There's so much more story to tell. And that's exactly why I keep saying I don't see either of them dying off. I know there's been some speculation about them killing off Carol. I really don't think so because I think she's got more story to go. And again, that might be why they're giving her this romance to kind of give her something to do so that it's not like Daryl's having a romance and she's a third wheel or something. But they have more story for her to tell. If she really was just hanging out and was a third wheel, then I think they could kill her off. But I just don't think that's the case. They have a lot more stories to tell. The only thing I can think of with these posters is that maybe because they, like you say, they're not probably filming a show where they're all coming back together yet, but they're sort of trying to promote that in this kind of strange way, trying to put that in our minds that there is going to be more Rick and Michonne, there is going to be more team family, if you will. And yeah, that's the only thing I can think of for why they would do that. It is, like I say, it is really kind of strange. But so yeah, I basically agree with you that it's that there's more coming up, and they're just trying to keep all of that top of mind because they're not quite there yet to, getting to the point where they're actually filming and promoting it. So yeah, great question. Spuno Flight asked, okay, so I have a huge conspiracy theory. I was checking profiles and saw that Norman shared this on Instagram. This actually is not a huge conspiracy theory. It's I had a couple of people send me this, so there's more than one person conspiring with you. Let's put it that way. So Norman did post this 11 years ago today, Comic-Con San Diego, which made me go, has he really not been to SDCC for 11 years? And I checked, no, he's been to SDCC almost every year. So then I was like, what makes 11 years so special? And then while scrolling both Instagram and Twitter, it was brought to my attention that the San Diego Comicon 11 years ago was the one he attended with Emily Kinney. So this was the one for season 5, right? Where we had them together. We had all kinds of pictures, all kinds of things. So what else could him specifically referencing 11 years mean other than Daryl Dixon, Book of Beth is coming? I agree. Yeah, this is exactly what we were thinking. I believe Galadriel Jones sent this to me, either that or WD Way, one of them. And yeah, we thought the exact same thing. He was at Comic-Cons before season 5. He's been to most of them since season 5. Why would he say 11 years ago? Like, that's a huge hint for maybe what's coming, hopefully, in Daryl Dixon season 3. So yeah, you're not the only one thinking this. This is a big deal. That he specifically decided to post this picture. But I mean, and it's funny because most of the fandom is not going to pick up on this. He's not posting a picture of him and Emily. That would be way too obvious. But he's posting something that kind of alludes to it in a roundabout sort of way. So yeah, thank you for sending that in. That is definitely something that we noticed. And we are right there with you. We think the exact same thing. So awesome. Let's see, let's do one more. Today is crazy. So it's confirmed on the SDCC panel that Carol is getting a new romance and they are promoting it. It's also confirmed that Daryl Dixon season 4 will be 8 episodes and the last iteration of this show. On top of it, Emily is doing a show on Veeps at the same time as the panel. And the first song she played is Be Good. Oh, I didn't know that. Like, what? This is too much. Beth is still coming back for season 4. Yeah, so kind of what I was just talking about, the last iteration of this show, which is Daryl Dixon, and that doesn't mean that it's going to be the end of anything. So I've had a few people write in or ask me, send me messages saying, is this bad news for Beth? Does this mean that it's going to be over and we're not going to get much of a Beth romance? I mean, we don't know how much of it will actually be on Daryl Dixon on the show, but that doesn't mean it's going to be over. This is about him finding his happy ending, and then they could go back and do another show with Team Family that goes another 10 years for all we know, so we don't know what it's going to be. But yeah, I think this definitely, and it shows that they're planning things too, which I've already talked about. They've had confirmations that they're going to be doing more. People are always saying, oh, well, we don't know what they're doing, or they haven't actually said that. And I mean, they say it in very vague, roundabout ways. So they'll say, oh, lots of great stuff coming up. And that's all they say, right? But obviously the actors were told, and others too, I think, Gimple has said it, Nicotero, some of them who aren't actors, the showrunners and things, they were told to use this as a talking point here, right? To start talking about how there's only going to be 2 more seasons of this, season 3 and season 4, but to make sure and say that's not the end, it's just the last iteration of this show, meaning that they're probably going to finally get home to America and not just keep bouncing around Europe, right? And yeah, I mean, that's super cool that Emily was like singing Be Good at the same time. I don't think we can really say that that's planned because we don't know for sure, but it's hard to believe it's not planned. Like, that's an awfully big coincidence for her to be singing that at the same time as the panel. That just makes me smile. Like, you know, if it was planned, everybody's doing a little evil laugh in their office somewhere because they're doing this. So yeah, thanks for sending that in. That's great. All right, I will probably call it there for today, guys, and I'm going to try to get at least one more video out before the end of the week. Talk soon.